Tonight on KVR News.
1 dead and 17 injured in this weekend Cincinnati shooting. We bring you an update on this continuing investigation.
President Trump bans laptops on flights from 10 countries to the United States.
And Austin Mayor Adler prepares to meet with the Department of Homeland Security.
You're watching KVR News, your leader for live, local UT coverage.
Broadcasting live from the Texas Student Television Studios at the University of Texas. You're watching KVR News at 9, Austin's leader for live local UT coverage. Your news starts right now.
Good evening and welcome back to KVR News for Monday, March 27th. I'm Jaywon Yu.
And I'm Daniela Villegas. Thank you for joining us.
The victims of the Cincinnati nightclub shootings rose to 17 injured and 1 dead, as another person stepped forward and explained he was struck by gunfire during the chaos. In a press conference Monday morning, Police Chief Elliot Isaac identified the man killed as 27-year-old O'Brien Spikes. Police arrived at the Cameo nightclub around 2:20 a.m. after shots broke out, according to investigators. About 200 people were inside the nightclub at the time of the shooting, and people poured outside in order to escape the bullets. Officials are asking that anyone with information steps forward. However, they have yet to make any arrests in relation to the shooting. This is not the first time at the Cameo, with one shooting on New Year's Eve 2015 and another in the parking lot the September before. Our thoughts are with all those affected by this act of violence.
Speaker Paul Ryan pulled the American Health Care Act before it could come to a vote before Congress. Republicans proposed the act as an alternative to the Affordable Care Act, also known as Obamacare. Congress originally set the vote for Thursday, but postponed it when House Republicans discovered they did not have enough support to pass the bill. Many Republicans, including the Freedom Caucus, opposed the American Health Care Act, stating it was too costly and did not do enough to repeal Obamacare. After realizing on Friday that the bill did not have enough votes to pass, Trump called Speaker Ryan and told him to pull the bill. Ryan continues to face an enormous amount of pressure for failing to rally enough votes.
Airplane passengers flying from 10 majority Muslim countries are banned from carrying laptop computers, iPads, and other devices larger than a cell phone on direct flights to the United States and Britain. This ban was inspired by a recent intelligence report that indicated the Islamic State could create bombs hidden in portable electronic press secretary. Press Secretary Sean Spicer declined to comment on the ban. Officials say cell phones will be allowed on board, while laptops and larger items will have to be packed with the checked-in luggage. The ban remains active in Egypt, Saudi Arabia, and a number of other nations.
Austin Mayor Steve Adler will meet with the Secretary of Homeland Security on Wednesday to clarify an executive order signed by President Trump in January. The order is designed to punish jurisdictions that hinder federal law enforcement. This comes after the Travis County Sheriff's Department decided to reduce its cooperation with federal immigration authorities to strengthen Austin as a sanctuary city. But Mayor Adler still believes that Travis County is not breaking any federal law.
The Trump administration's crackdown on immigration has caused domestic abuse victims to not pursue cases against their attackers in fear of their own deportation. 4 violent and physical assault victims in Denver decided not to press charges against their attackers after seeing a video of ICE officers waiting to arrest undocumented immigrants at the Denver courthouse. Denver City Attorney Kristen Bronson said that the video has created fear among the immigrant communities. Homeland Security deems churches, schools, and hospitals as sensitive areas. Now attorneys are hoping courthouses will follow.
15-year-old Tennessee teen Elizabeth Thomas is still missing after Tad Cummins, her 50-year-old former forensics teacher, allegedly kidnapped her. Investigators found emails that the two exchanged and confirmed the two had a romantic interest in each other. Because the number of cases of inappropriate teacher-student relationship continues to rise, lawmakers in Texas proposed harsher penalties for adults involved. State Representative Tony Dell introduced House Bill 218, which would prevent school districts from withholding disciplinary investigations outside of personal files. Although school districts conduct research prior to hiring, they still may not be able to find critical information regarding the teacher's last job. In addition, the bill proposes teachers involved in a relationship with students will not be allowed to teach in the future.
A Texas Court of Appeals overturned the sexual assault conviction of Sam Okiuchu, a former Baylor football player during the past trial in 2015. The judge sentenced Okiuchu to 180 days in jail and 10 years of probation after the jury after the jury found him guilty for raping a female soccer player. However, the 10th Court of Appeals overturned this conviction and granted him a new trial based on the improper exclusion of text messages between the woman and her friends as evidence. These messages, which were sent prior to the assault, argued that the sex seemed consensual. We will continue to update you on this case as the story develops.
15% of undergraduate women at the University of Texas at Austin reported that they have been raped. These numbers were part of a survey that took place across last year concerning the prevalence of sexual assault and misconduct on campus. In addition, 28% reported unwanted sexual touching and 12% experienced attempted rape. 13% of female graduate students also experienced sexual harassment committed by a faculty or staff member. A majority of the attacks took place off campus. President Fenves encourages students who are or knows someone who is a victim of sexual assault or misconduct to report the incident and seek counsel.
1 month after high school wrestler Mac Beggs won a Texas female wrestling semifinal, USA Wrestling adopted a new policy. Now transgender athletes can wrestle in the gender category that they identify with if they are transitioning before puberty. This new policy contrasts the University Interscholastic League's policy for gender assigned at birth. If the athlete is transitioning from male to female, however, they must undergo testosterone level tests per USA Wrestling guidelines. This new rule allows Beggs and others in a situation to compete in off-season, non-UIL-sponsored competitions against other boys. However, if the UIL does not change its rules, Beggs must wrestle against girls during his high school season.
We'll be back with more news after the break. AISD plans to build a new high school.
Demonstrators rally for more public school funding.
We see how UT students celebrate spring with the Hindu festival Holi.
We'll have more KVR news coming up after the break.
Have a news tip or story idea? Call the KVR News Tip Line, 475-8181.
Texas firefighters and medics may be able to respond to 911 calls armed. Lawmakers filed bills that would allow firefighters and emergency medical services to carry a handgun while on duty. If granted a permit as of now, there is no state law that addresses the issue. House Bill 435 would also allow volunteers for emergency services to be armed and protect first responders from lawsuits if guns are fired while on duty. While most 18-year-olds are excited to be legal adults, for those in the foster care system, 18 marks the year they stop receiving help from the state. For a lot of these teens, this transition can be hard and many end up homeless, but the Burke Center for Youth, a presidential treatment center, hopes to change that. The center currently only cares for boys ages 11 to 17, but the center's executive director, Steve Fournier, says thanks to community donations, they are building a transitional home where 18-year-olds can temporarily live. The boys will receive help with finding a job, as long as they either attend school or find a trade. They also have to pay a small rent fee, which will go into their savings account. The home is scheduled to be completed in April and will house 4 young men.
After nearly a decade, AISD approved the purchase of 3 different pieces of land in Goodnight Ranch subdivision in southeast Austin, West Slaughter Lane and Sawmill Drive. This purchase, known as the Facilities Master Plan, will provide land for overcrowded schools to expand their facilities. However, voters will have to approve additional bond dollars to construct these new facilities. AISD continues to spread the word to parents at community events. The details of the bond will continue to be updated every 2 years. This decision follows an Austin ISD report summarizing recommendations for district facilities. They include renovations for some schools, modernizing others, and repurposing others, meaning they will no longer be schools.
Public education supporters rallied at the south steps of the Texas State Capitol to demand more funding for public schools. Save Texas Schools, a coalition of parents, teachers, students, and community members, hosted the event. Around 300 to 500 teachers and others from across the state of Texas came to show their support. The rally comes after a Texas legislative representative said the state is in an education funding crisis. Texas currently ranks 43rd in the country for the amount of money spent on public school students.
Lawmakers said that public university tuition is rising much faster than Texas families can keep up with. For this reason, Chairman of the Senate Higher Education Committee, Kel Slager, filed bills in support of lowering public university tuition. Senator Slager believes that if universities want to raise tuition, they must increase the quality of their education and provide more benefits to students. The Senate committee reviewed the bills the past Wednesday and are still deciding on a vote.
2 teenage girls were banned from boarding a United Airlines flight because they were wearing leggings. The gate agent refused to let the girls board the plane from Denver to Minneapolis, insisting that they change clothes and put on dresses to cover the leggings. Bystanders were shocked and began tweeting at United. The company responded by citing their contract, which states that agents have the discretion to refuse passengers access who are not properly clothed.
These sunnier skies and warmer temperatures, what better way to begin the spring season than with the festival? We went out to see how UT students celebrate spring at Holy.
Holy is a festival that celebrates the arrival of spring. Along with that, it's supposed to show that good will always persevere over evil. And along with that, it also celebrates diversity, but unity despite that.
This annual spring festival at the University of Texas is hosted by the Hindu Student Association, providing the whole campus with the festive environment to celebrate colors, love, and the arrival of spring.
It's like celebrating colors and like enjoying each other's company for the sake of enjoying each other's company and like bringing everyone together. It's like the festival of including everyone in the community.
Holy is celebrated by both the religious and non-religious. It's the perfect event to bring different people together and add color into their life.
According to research, Hinduism is the 4th largest religious community in the United States, making it a prominent part of many people's lives, including our students here at the university.
My practicing of Hinduism has made me more cognizant of how I interact with the world around me and what I do on a daily basis.
Despite Hinduism having a generally large community in the U.S., with Texas being a 77% Christian state, here it can still be seen as a minority. Considering that, this festival carried the message of promoting unity and cultural education within campus, inviting people of all backgrounds to come together and experience what it means to celebrate diversity.
Necessarily, you don't have to be Hindu, you don't have to be X, you don't have to be Y or Z. Right here, you're just like UT student, you're here to have fun, you're here like everybody else. There's a lot of common ground.
This was Jaewon Yu from KVR News. I had such a good time at Holy, and I'm so glad that the weather cleared up. If it had rained, it would have been a very, very messy festival.
I couldn't agree with you more, Jaewon. It's almost April, which means the showers are about to come back soon.
Let's see if your predictions are true as we head over to our weather center. Walton Gray?
Although today was beautiful, it looks like this week is going to be full of rain. I'll have this week's weather after the break.
You're watching KVR News at 9. Your campus, your news.
Today was a beautiful, partly cloudy day with a high of 85 and a low of 68. As we move into the night, temperatures are expected to dip into the high 60s with a 30% chance of rain. Tomorrow, you better have your umbrellas ready because there will be a 50% chance of rain, but the temperatures will remain high with around 87 and a low of 68. Wednesday, the showers are expected to stick around with a 53% chance of rain that will also cool down during the day. When we head into Wednesday, the showers are also expected to stick around with a 53% chance of rain that will also cool temperatures off with a high of 82 and a low of 58. But as we move into Thursday, the rain will disappear and we'll see cooler temperatures with a high of 80 and a low of 55. But Austin will heat back up Friday with another sunny day and a high of 86 and a low of 61. As we move into the weekend, the rain will also return. Saturday, there's an 80% chance of rain with a high of 82 and a low of 66. Sunday, the 80% chance of rain will remain with the possibility of thunderstorms. Sunday will also be the coolest day of the week with a high of 76 and a low of 54. It looks like umbrellas are going to be an essential part of every Longhorn supply this week. Back to you, Jaewon and Daniela.
Thanks, Walton Gray.
We'll be back with Ross Slabinski from College Press Box after the break.
Now, KVR News at 9 Sports.
Welcome back to KVR News. I'm Ross Lipinski here to talk everything sports. Texas men's swimming and diving captured their 13th NCAA title over the weekend in Indianapolis. The Longhorns have won 3 straight NCAA championships, a feat that has distinguished it as the winningest Division I program of all time. All 13 titles have been won under head coach Eddie Reese, who got the keys to the program in 1978. Senior Will Lycan made his own mark in history at the championships. Lycan swept his 3 individual events, the first swimmer to do so at a single NCAA championship meet. The Longhorns celebrated their victory last night under the UT Tower. Here's what head coach Eddie Reese had to say about the program's 13th title.
One, I didn't believe we were going to go as fast as we went. And I am a total optimistic dreamer. I dream times that nobody else gets in their mind. And these guys surpassed all of that. It was, as I told them at the end of the meet, there's never been a meet this fast in the history of the sport.
Back in Texas over the weekend, the WGC Dell Technologies match play was underway at Austin Country Club. 64 of the top-ranked golfers in the world narrowed down to just one champion over the course of 5 days. It was only fitting that the championship match finished on the final 18th green as the top-ranked golfer, Dustin Johnson, defeated John Ram 1-up. Johnson has now won 3 straight PGA Tour events, and his victory distinguishes him as the only player to have all 4 World Golf Championships won.
Thanks for joining us, Ross. Now let's see what's happening in Hollywood. Asia?
O.J. Simpson and Casey Anthony are back in media spotlight. The American Rock and Roll Hall of Fame honors 2 of America's most wanted, Snoop Dogg and Tupac Shakur, and Twitter might be the start of a love between Mindy Kaling and Senator Cory Booker. We'll give you the scoop and more after we come back.
You're watching KVR News at 9. Your campus, your news.
Touch magazine revealed that former professional football player O.J. Simpson and Casey Anthony may star in a reality show together. Both Simpson and Anthony were acquitted for murder. Simpson for the murder of his wife, Nicole Brown Simpson, and her friend Ron Goldman in 1994, and Anthony for the murder of her daughter, Kaylee Anthony, in 2008. The show will give an insight on what it's like for them to live life after being acquitted for the murder of their loved ones. Snoop Dogg will induct his late friend Tupac Shakur into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame next month at an induction ceremony. The rapper has collaborated with Tupac on the single 2 of America's Most Wanted and Wanted Dead or Alive. The 2 were often seen together during the height of Death Row Records in the 90s. Dr. Dre and Snoop are said to potentially form a Death Row Records reunion for a musical performance honoring Tupac. The induction ceremony will take place in Brooklyn on April 7th. If you were scrolling through Twitter this weekend, you might have seen Mindy Kaling and New Jersey Senator Cory Booker reshaping the definition of Twitter romance. Kaylee showed the Mindy Project called out Senator Booker on Tuesday. Her character seemed surprised at his appearance at her party, guessing that he'd do anything to get out of Newark. Senator Booker tweeted later that he caught word of his appearance in the episode, defended his state, but tweeted that he still loved her. Kaylee quickly replied, saying anything her character didn't like was actually cool, and tweeted back that the love was mutual. Senator Booker then decided to take things to the next level, and for both Twitter users combined 10 million followers to see, he asked Kaylee out on a dinner date, which she accepted. So far, there's no word on the date of the date, but here at KVR, we wish this 21st century romance the best. And of course, a live tweet of the whole thing.
Thanks, Asia, and thank you for tuning in.
Be sure to follow us for news updates throughout the week. You can follow us on Twitter at KVR News or like us on Facebook. I'm Daniela Villegas.
And I'm Jaywan Yu. Stay tuned for College Press Walk up next on Texas Student Television. Have a great week.